Hi there, I'm UtahPoliticalWatch.news managing editor Brian Schott, and this podcast, it's sponsor-free right now, which is great for independents, but it's absolutely terrible for my bank account. So if you run a business or you know someone who does and you want to reach politically engaged Utahns without funding corporate media, let's talk. You can email me at podcast@UtahPoliticalWatch.news. Keep this show independent, promote your business. That sounds like a win-win to me. Welcome to Special Session. I'm your host, Brian Schott, managing editor and publisher of Utah Political Watch. You're about to hear the opening segment of our subscriber-exclusive live stream. It's a smart, no-spin breakdown of Utah politics for people who actually want the receipts. In the show, we dig into the sprawling lawsuit from Phil Lyman's allies aiming to undo Utah's election results and boot Governor Spencer Cox and others from office. We'll also talk about the redistricting lawsuit, tighter mail ballot rules, and what we can look forward to in the 2026 congressional elections. If you like what you hear, you can unlock the full episode and every subscriber exclusive briefing by becoming a paid subscriber at utahpolitics.news. So Phil Lyman supporters are still trying to undo Spencer Cox election. Yes, that is the story that I just published. I've been working on this for about a week because it's kind of hard to write this. There are thousands of pages in this lawsuit that was filed by Tracy Halverson and a bunch of Phil Lyman's supporters. I just published that online if you haven't had a chance to read it, but it is quite a lawsuit. And this is just the latest effort to try and undo Spencer Cox's election from last year. And what they're specifically asking for is to kick Spencer Cox, John Curtis, Derek Brown, and a member of the state school board, Randy Booth, out of office and install the convention winners instead. Just declare that the election was vacant. But in the lawsuit, they filed in federal court because if you remember, every attempt they've tried to do this in state court has been thrown out. But they filed it in federal court last month. And what they are alleging in this lawsuit is that SB 54 is allowed Governor Spencer Cox, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, and a whole handful of elected officials, and even a Utah State Supreme Court judge to engage in a racketeering and election fraud scheme to put signature gathering candidates on the ballot under SB 54, which is the law that allowed for signature gathering candidates. They're claiming that Cox and Henderson and Brown and Senator Curtis and others have benefited from this racketeering scheme, and they're trying to invalidate the whole enterprise. And what they want is those office holders to be thrown out of office, letting Phil Lyman and Trent Staggs and Frank Mylar to take over those offices and serve out the rest of their term. Nathan says in the chat, reminds me of the doomed lawsuit to get the 2020 election invalidated because it cited Lord of the Rings, Gondor has no king. It was roundly mocked as the N.R.E. Gondor case. Yeah, this is essentially the same thing. It's just a rehash of everything else, of everything that's come before. The lawsuit is headed up by Tracy Halverson. She was the person who spearheaded the doomed lawsuit to overturn Utah's new flag, if you'll remember that. So she's the person who has headed this up. Other plaintiffs include Sophie Anderson. She is someone I'm well acquainted with. She is a longtime election conspiracy theorist and one of Phil Lyman's closest advisors. In fact, she was one of his advisors for his doomed attempt to become the chairman of the Utah GOP earlier this year. She sued a number of times to try and get a hold of election documents that state law specifically says that she can't have, but she's claiming that there's fraud. And she's one of the people who sort of turned Phil Lyman into an election denialist, someone who claims that there were more votes than people in the 2020 election. Wasn't Mylar the one who promised a job to another candidate to drop out of the AG race? That's what's alleged. That was another Trent Christensen, who, if you remember, and I reported this, he was not a member of the bar in Utah when he filed to run for attorney general, and he claimed that he was going to be a member of the bar. I still don't think he's a member of the bar here. But this is just part of this whole group of fringe people who just can't seem to take no for an answer. That's the end of today's free preview. Paid subscribers get to listen to the full discussion, a deeper dive into the lawsuit's claims and who the defendants are and what we can expect from the courts. We'll also talk about the municipal races and the latest maneuvering for Congress and what we might expect in the 2026 elections. You can get the complete episode and every future one and participate in the live stream by becoming a paid subscriber at utahpolitics.news.